So you remember the Biden bus in 2020 and the media telling you the Trump train tried to run it off the road. Did you know that people like me are getting sued by Biden's White House officials under the Ku Klux Klan law for driving next to that bus? And not only are they lying, saying we ran the bus off the road, I have proof from inside the bus, the footage that shows that the media is lying to you.
I'll push that bumper right on his push it. I'll push him all the way down. Yeah, I'm gonna run right over one of them. I'll put that bumper right on his push it.
But they see I'm kind of like blocking both lanes.
Right.
I push it to get in there. I'm sure we'll hit it. I'll hit it. Tell it, y'all hit it. I'll push it.
Not gonna be putting your blinker on, right?
No blinkers today.
I'll put my blinker off to the left. Then I wait, I get right up on that white line and whip it right in there.
There you go. Woo! See you later, asshole.
Come back the
Bye
wrong way.
bye, bye bye. That's how we say that. Bye bye, bye bye. Bye bye. Oh, he probably like, ooh.
These videos are from the legal depositions we've been in Washington, D.C. this week. And not only does it show that we were driving peacefully, but that the bus was trying to run Trump supporters off the road. Conservative free speech is under attack, and we're fighting back. Go to freespeechdefender.com.
Okay. Well, Joeylynn, welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
No, I'm excited. You're getting sued by the Biden administration for driving a truck with a Donald Trump flag with some friends next to a Joe Biden tour bus in October of 2020. And you're being charged under the KKK Act because you driving a truck means that you're about to start to. Driving a truck is basically a sign of lynching.
Yeah, they're trying to make the connection between the Ku Klux Klan law and our exercise of free speech, which should be protected under the Constitution, that it's synonymous with white supremacy and suppresses blacks and minorities from voting.
That's really interesting. Okay, so just to a little bit of a recap, I had you on a little over a year ago, right when this thing kind of started. Mm-hmm. Recap what actually happened and what you're being charged with and all of that stuff.
Yeah, so you're right. When the Biden bus came through in 2020, it drove from south of San Antonio through to Austin. Mm-hmm. And at the time, Trump trains were pretty popular. We thought it'd be fun and cool to drive next to the bus with Trump flags, thinking that we might get national publicity, that Trump might see it. We thought that'd be pretty cool if we made the news. We were not prepared for, not only would we make viral news, we would get sued under the Ku Klux Klan law in federal court with no criminal charges. So it's just a civil lawsuit. So the people suing us consist of White House officials with Biden's administration, Democrat politicians, and campaign staffers for Biden-Harris. And they're claiming that our exercise of free speech gave them emotional damage and they want financial compensation.
Wow. And the Ku Klux Klan Act, like I said earlier, implies that you were driving that truck as an act of lynching. And they're not charging you with a crime, but isn't lynching a crime?
Yeah, no, definitely. So you'd think if we actually were doing something wrong, we'd be in prison. They hold nothing back, right? They have nothing to use against us except hurt feelings, and they've dragged them through the federal court system, bankrupting the defendants along the way, which are average Americans exercising basic rights and supporting political candidates of their choice. Okay. We should be protected under the First Amendment by this, but we've been assigned to an Obama-appointed judge. These individuals suing us have George Soros-backed foundations that are funding their lawsuit. They have 20 D.C. attorneys, most of which were in the White House under Obama's administration. And we're average Americans, single income family.
And, all right. And so how many other people are getting sued under this?
So there were 5 initially. My husband and I were 2 of them.
Yeah.
There was a young woman who was 18 at the time that she was sued. And she wound up settling, signing an apology statement that they wrote for her saying, you know what, I just went out of this. I'm sorry. And what they wound up doing was adding her parents to the lawsuit on the final day of the 2-year statute of limitations, and her apology and signing off on that settlement agreed to testify against any remaining defendants. And so now her parents have been added. and she'll have to testify against them in court. And so, now I believe the remaining defendants are 6 based on what's been removed and what's been added. But not everybody has legal representation.
Wow. So they charged every single person who was driving that in that caravan.
There were many others who have not been sucked up into this, and we don't know what method they used to pick some and not others. But when, in the civil complaint, they referenced a Facebook post where I said we were there that day and it was really awesome. Okay. So they're definitely using social media to pick people off. And I believe they're trying to make an example out of us. This Ku Klux Klan law, the same organizations are also suing Dinesh D'Souza for making the documentary 2000 Mules. They're suing, sued Brandon Stratka with the Walkaway campaign.
Yeah, but didn't they sue him also because he was going to the Capitol or something like that?
They did, but they used the same Ku Klux Klan law, saying that I think that Capitol Police had emotional damage. So they're using it like the same way. They're also suing Trump under the same law for January 6th. And then we saw that guy with the Hillary meme who was actually facing criminal charges in prison.
But they did release him, actually.
No, they did. But this is the same law that they're using. So this is a law that hasn't been used for 150 years. And now it's popcorning up everywhere, saying that conservatives are infringing on civil liberties. And this is how they're circumventing the Constitution to squash conservative exercises of the First Amendment.
Which is pretty scary.
Yeah.
And how are you doing financially with all this stuff?
Gosh. So we cashed out our 401k and that's gone. That was early on to retain an attorney. We went through our savings account, and what I had to do was start a merchandising company to start selling shirts and merchandise to fundraise.
Your shirts are doing pretty well.
Yeah, actually really well. We've shipped Biden is the worst with a weenie on it. You're actually wearing it under the sweater. We've shipped them all over the United States, all 50 states. Yes. Biden is the worst to all 50 states, including Alaska and Hawaii. And we even have people from Germany, Norway, Scotland. They reach out and ask if we can ship internationally. So that's done well for fundraising efforts and getting our story out.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. And you've also raised a pretty good amount of Give Some Go money.
Yeah. So
do you think you've recouped some of the do you think you've recouped the costs?
Not yet. It'll be a long way for that. So a couple of points there. We've spent about $150,000, probably more, in legal fees in defense right now up to date. Okay. We haven't even made it to trial yet. We've been in this for 3.5 years. By the time our court date rolls around, it'll be 4 years later. Okay. We are expecting to spend upwards of between $400,000 and $600,000. And this is just to defend ourselves and our exercise of free speech.
How much money are they suing you for?
They haven't even indicated it. So they've made a note that's like whatever a jury finds fair. The thing is,
what if you win the lawsuit and the jury just decides that it's like $1?
We recuperate nothing, which is so abusive. So, well, first of all, I will not ever settle. I'll appeal.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm not going
Even if they say it's $1, you won't pay the $1?
I wouldn't.
Wow, all right.
I stand firm on my rights and the fact that I did nothing wrong. I don't bow to a woke mob. And I know $1 is insignificant, but we've lost so much more. We've spent so much more. It's taken such a toll on our family. Our child has grown 5 inches since we got sued. It's been a black cloud that's followed us around for years. When there's something it does to your state of mind when you know you haven't done anything wrong, but you're being treated like
a criminal.
But
you seem like you're handling it really well.
I think that God equipped me to have a really positive outlook, to be energetic. Before I got sued, I was in nonprofit work fundraising for nonprofit organizations. So I feel like God equipped me for this season of my life to be able to fundraise. We've raised about $250,000.
Which is good.
Which is phenomenal. And so we hope to win and go back after them and hold them accountable for this lawfare.
How would you do that?
Well, there aren't.
You think you can countersue or something? Or?
I'd love to. There aren't a lot of attorneys that want to take that on because it's very difficult to prove defamation of character, and so that's the thing that bothers me the most is that they get away with this with no accountability and they do it more and more. Somebody's got to step in and push back.
Okay. What about running for office or something like that? Right?
Yeah. So in the depositions, one of the first questions they asked me under oath was, "Are you planning on running for office?" Which I thought was very interesting. Like, you pick a homeschool mom to pick a fight with who doesn't care much about politics in the first place, but now I'm going to fight right? And you want to know now if I plan on running for office? Like, I was never going to run for office before, but you know what? It sounds kind of like a good idea now. I think that I have learned and seen. I'm so disappointed in our elected officials. Every single one that I've reached out to for support with what's going on has been unwilling to get involved directly. They've told me I can speak to their campaign staff outside of business hours, and if they want to do something on their own time to help us, they can, but getting involved would be a conflict of interest. And watching people like you go into city council meetings, before 2020, I didn't even understand what city council was, what was accomplished, what they voted on. And now I'm at every single city council meeting, right? I'm not dressed up in a clown wig, but I'm definitely fighting
You
about.
weren't at the last one I was at in New Braunfels.
Were you there?
Yeah, well, there was one I was in where I was the clown. You weren't there.
Okay, well, okay, fine, not every freaking one. Almost every single one, and I'm fighting about sexually explicit books. The things that our city council is voting on, we elect these people to represent us, and they don't. They rule us like the elite, and I'm sick of it. And so I would have never gotten involved if it hadn't been for this lawsuit. Now I'm getting involved, and I have considered that if we want to get the city council and the mayor replaced, well, that's going to require somebody to run in those positions, right? And so I've definitely considered it, and I just think it's hysterical that the people suing us are concerned about that.
It is kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
So has Donald Trump or anybody related to his campaign offered to help you in any way possible?
No. You asked me this question the last time I was on, and
Well,
the
things
answer,
have changed.
I was going to say the answer is still the same. So they definitely know about what's going on, and it really, really confuses me and disappoints me that we've not made any progress there, especially. I'm not asking Donald Trump to fix it. I'm not asking him to pay for it. Perhaps some help making media connections so that we could tell our story and get the story out there. In the 14th Amendment hearing in Colorado, where they got Trump's name removed from the ballot, the prosecuting attorney's opening remarks referenced January 6th and the Biden bus incident, claiming that we forced the bus off the road and were domestic terrorists. And so the story continues popcorning in this political lawfare where now they're using us to keep Trump off the ballot. And so I'm like, is that why we haven't heard from Trump's administration? Because they think that being in contact with us is taboo for the way that the left is trying to make them look in the media. But why haven't we heard about it? Why do we keep getting squashed in the media? Why don't we have that support? So it's been really disheartening, but I don't expect Trump to fix all my problems. I believe that if 80 million Americans do something, we'll have a way bigger impact than 80 million people waiting for Trump to do something.
Yeah. You still supporting him in the primary?
Yeah, I am still going to support him.
Really?
Sure am.
That's interesting.
I am. I think that...
Do you know what Stockholm Syndrome is?
You're such a punk. No, I do still... He doesn't have to save and deliver me. He's not my Jesus, so I don't worship him. He's definitely going to represent the things that are important to me in the office.
Like protecting everyday Americans from getting sued by Joe Biden for driving a truck.
I would hope so.
Yeah, because he's doing all of that.
I would hope so.
Yes, yeah, by not helping.
I would hope that he would. I can tell you that he's not. Look, I've been fighting my own fights.
I'm putting that clip is going on Instagram, by the way. That's gonna be the Instagram clip.
That's fine and that's fair. It has been hurtful. I would love for him to have waved his magic wand and fixed all of our problems. He's not going to do it, but it doesn't mean that I can't see the value that Americans inherit when he's in the office. I mean, look at the cost of our groceries. Look at how we had no war. Our border was being secured. Those things are important to me also.
Sure, those are very solid. Nice
So who do you
points.
think would be able to do that instead?
I think Ron DeSantis is a better choice. Well, why? Why are we laughing?
I don't have the confidence in Ron that I have in Trump.
Why?
And Ron's not going to save me either. Do you know that I reached out to Ron DeSantis before I even reached out to Trump? Because I thought it was more manageable and achievable that I would get a response from a governor versus a presidential candidate or former president. And I didn't receive any feedback or word back from his office either, not even from interns or administration.
That is disappointing. I'm friends with some of the guys who do not like comms, but like some of the Twitter people on his staff, and I'll share that clip too and bring that up because
I would love that. Yeah.
That's not cool.
But that
is not a good thing. But
that's been the case with all of them.
Okay, what about Vivek?
I have not reached out to him.
He might actually say something.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll try it.
I think Vivek would be a really good press secretary.
Yeah. Yeah. I see so many strengths in him. I do.
I don't think he's like the guy to be president. I don't trust him to be president.
I don't trust him either. Yeah.
No, but he's a really good talker, and he's
fantastic.
Yeah, he's really good at handling the media.
His communications are great.
Phenomenal.
I agree.
Yeah. I tweeted actually. I was like, this guy should be Ron DeSantis' press secretary. and some of them are like, some of the people that I sent this to are like, we're just saying no, that's not a good idea. And I'm like, well, why? You don't have to trust him. The press secretary talks to the media, and he's really good at that. And DeSantis is kind of really mediocre at talking to the media, but he's really good at like managing disasters and balancing a budget and fighting wokeness and actually protecting your rights as a legislator and banning central bank digital currencies and like keeping, you know, he doesn't really break his promises either. You know, he never flew on Epstein's planes.
Right, that is true.
You know, like
yeah, there was no contact there.
Those documents got released. Ron DeSantis isn't mentioned at all. And listen, yeah, Trump wasn't flying to the island. Yay. That's cool. Yeah. But you're still getting texts. You're still getting calls about the casino, going to the casino.
Yeah.
You know, that's not the best look. And DeSantis didn't even have a relationship with Epstein. Yeah. And then the guy Alexander Acosta, the labor secretary in Florida, it was the attorney general at the time, Alexander Acosta. He's the one that gave Epstein the 1-year jail sentence when he was accused at first in 2006 of trafficking little kids. Mm-hmm. And then Donald Trump made him the labor secretary.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of weird. I mean, like there's stuff like that is just a little bit like. Yeah,
you'd rather he not be in it at all. Like I understand that.
But then Epstein also got arrested under Trump again, so there's that too.
Yes, he did. And I'm concerned that. What I see is people run for office. They have incredible intentions, but can they stay uncorrupted? We've been able to see that Trump, I believe, has been able to be in office without being corrupted.
You think so?
To the point that it impacts. Yeah, I do believe so.
No, I disagree with this, and I can explain why I think that's a fairy tale.
Okay, go ahead.
And this is as friendly and as nice as possible.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm going to explain why I feel this way. Just because we're both friends and we don't want to eat bugs and live in a pod and live in
right.
You know, so I'm just explaining from that perspective. All right, like if he wasn't corrupted, why did he do nothing when he had a Republican majority in Congress his first 2 years? Why did nothing really happen? Why did he add $7 trillion to the deficit? Why did he deport less people than both Obama and even Biden? Why did he get completely steamrolled by Dr. Fauci during COVID?
Yeah, I do
Why
agree
was he
with
unable
you on
to manage
COVID.
BLM?
Yeah.
Why is he campaigning with Lindsey Graham actively? Why is he floating the idea of Nikki Haley being his vice president? Why is he spending the most time attacking the only governor who actually put Trump's policies into practice while he was governor when it was actually very difficult to do so during COVID? There's more. Why are you endorsing Ronna McDaniel to be the GOP chair when they have a history of just losing and losing bad ever since 2018? Why did you not pardon Snowden? Why did you not pardon Assange? Why did all the people, even on January 6th, like you threw all of them under the bus? Why has he not? Why has nobody in his campaign staff reached out or done anything to help you when you were risking your freedom, your safety, and your financial well-being to support someone, and this person's not reciprocating any of that? So I feel as though you have to be corrupted in order to be blatantly disregard your own voters and supporters on that level.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, I do appreciate your perspective and your viewpoint, and I agree that some of that is concerning and confusing. I don't know where corruption starts and where self-preservation ends. Like, I don't know, like, where...
Well, he cares more about self-preservation than he does preserving the country, and I think that's kind of been obvious based on what you've been seeing, especially, like, some of his all-cap truth is all about loyalty to him and not, like, fixing the country. And it's disappointing. I don't look at any one person and then see no flaws. I do agree that there are flaws. And one of the biggest that I do see with Trump is and was the COVID vaccine, because I have family members that were like,
Well, Trump took it. Trump said it was fine, and then they took it. And I worry about their health every day. And I don't understand why that happened and where that went wrong. But I also have looked at DeSantis and Florida, and there have been things that have concerned me that go on in Florida as well. And obviously, you can't handle.
Well, what?
So, as far as sexually explicit, he says that he really cares about the sexually
Pedophiles
explicit.
are getting the death penalty now in Florida.
Okay, that's a big deal. But why are we still battling with sexually explicit books in schools when we're trying to say that we're handling that at a legislative level, but we're actually not really addressing it. We're saying that we are.
Well, hold on. What actually has happened in Florida that makes you feel that way?
Well, I see parents coming forward, sharing their concerns about what they're finding in the schools, the same way that we are here in Texas. And I know, and I look directly to our Governor Abbott, and I'm disappointed in him. And so
people could also just be doing this to open defiance, because look, we do have a country where people at smaller levels of government disregard what people in bigger levels of government will say and legislate. It's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, it is bad when you're teaching 12-year-olds how to give blowjobs in the middle school classroom.
Yes.
But like that's not
younger even.
Yeah, that's not all bad.
First grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't have expectations that anybody has it all under control, that they're perfect, because I also understand there's still smaller government. There's city levels.
Yes.
And, I understand that. But I just don't know. I don't have the confidence to elect that person as a president. I don't. I would feel better electing the same way that Trump came to office as a businessman and not a politician before his term started.
Yeah, businessman who's bankrupted 4 companies that was like born into insane amounts of money. But yes, continue. Yeah.
So as a businessman versus a politician, I had a lot more confidence in somebody like that than a politician. I think everybody, to some extent, makes these rubbing elbows connections, gets paid off, works for this donor who they're receiving money from.
Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry to interrupt. Hey, Panda, we'll probably be like a half an hour. Do you need this like immediately? Okay. All right. Sorry. That's my friend Panda. We're
this
using
is his
butt.
cab?
Yes. Yes.
I think that everybody does this. They have these connections. They're trying to make people happy. They have big donors. They have goals and agendas. And I don't trust any of them. So it's like you're picking the lesser of all the evils.
Well, okay, that's fair. I mean, listen, you're not supposed to trust anybody. You're never supposed to trust a politician fully. Mm-hmm. But if DeSantis hadn't handled COVID the way he handled COVID, you might need a digital passport of your vaccine status to go to the grocery store.
Yes, I mean, I do remember being here in Texas and wishing that our governor was doing what DeSantis was doing. I remember
it'd be
that.
kind of cool if the whole rest of the United States was doing what DeSantis was doing, and you have a guy, flaws and all, right? Like, look at the basics. And I'm not trying to be like debating Trump versus DeSantis or any of that stuff, right? I'm just looking at this from like, who do you think is going to best represent like me still wanting to live in the United States? And it's important to just be able to have that discussion while you're in a primary. And it's better to have the discussion and argue in a primary than to kind of be stuck with somebody in April and be completely discombobulated and be misled by a charlatan. But
okay, so if DeSantis was so great, though, wouldn't there be a lot more effort to disqualify him?
There is.
I don't think
there's more money being spent. Actually, fun fact. I'm glad you mentioned that. There's more money being spent amongst Republican primary components attacking DeSantis than anybody else by far, by leaps and bounds.
What do you mean? How
like
do you
attack it? Like Haley, Trump, all the Republicans that are running in the primary are spending inordinate amounts of money running attack ads on DeSantis.
On DeSantis.
Yes,
I haven't really seen any of that.
These are proven documents.
But
attack ads.
That's not landing. Like, I'm not seeing what they're spending money on. Like, that's not anything
well, why do you think there's so much anti-DeSantis sentiment coming from everywhere? It's not organic. That's
but this is within our own. So you're saying this is within our own party. You're not saying this is coming from the left.
Well, of course, it's coming from within our own party because you're in a primary. Why does it need to come from the left?
No, but
why do you think even CNN and MSNBC and all these big major news outlets you trust? Are floating out polls that are giving Trump like a 10-point lead over Biden in swing states? Like, we're trusting polls now?
No, I don't trust polls.
They're about as real as Michelle Obama being a woman.
No, I don't trust.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm not trusting the polls. But
that was totally a joke. Totally a joke.
There's not an effort to discourage the population's trust in DeSantis like there is Trump, like by a long shot.
That isn't true.
I don't see it.
Well, because it's being done through alternative media, because that's where the right wing, that's where the Republican primaries are going to be held, and everybody with half a brain already knows that. There are so many. Why do you think there's so many Trump bots floating around on Twitter? You know, like there's stuff like that. Why do you think even during the debates, like, they don't give DeSantis as much time to answer and respond to questions as like Vivek or Nikki Haley? Why do you think Jamie Dimon and Larry Fink and all of these and so many of these people connected to BlackRock and Wall Street are openly pushing Nikki Haley, while at the same time mainstream media will tell you how far ahead Trump is in the polls? You know, it feels like it is actually a design to box in, you know, the actual on policy most conservative governor that you're gonna have, most conservative candidate in the race, through actions and policy. I mean, that's just what that's what I'm seeing, right? That's just honestly what I'm seeing, and then you look at you look at so many people are endorsing Trump, right? Mm-hmm. Like, everyone's endorsing, like the Speaker of the House is endorsing Trump. All these congressmen are endorsing Trump. Don Huffines, the guy who ran up against Greg Abbott, is endorsing Trump.
Yeah.
Who did Donald Trump endorse in the Republican primary in Texas?
Abbott.
Yeah, didn't? Yeah. But then here's Huffines simping for Trump.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know why people are doing this? Because they're afraid of Trump. That's what I think. They're afraid of this guy, because, like, if you say anything bad against Donald Trump, he will go after you with everything he has. Like, he's going after Thomas Massey. He's going after Chip Roy. These are like some of the best people that you're ever going to have representing you. And
Chip Roy.
Oh, maybe not.
Did you hear what Chip Roy said about Trump supporters, though?
What did he say? Let's say what he said.
He cursed us out.
When?
I'll have to reference the interview.
Was it after the DeSantis thing or before? Like,
it's been a couple months. The timeline, there was something that agitated him heavily. And I guess Trump supporters were saying something about Chip. But he responded and reacted to them, I believe it was live, on a television program or a radio show program. And it was very heated, and it was very directed at Trump supporters. And I was really surprised, because I remember during Trump rallies, he would come to campaign, and we were very receptive of him. He's had my vote. In fact, one of the people suing us was running against him for Congress, Wendy Davis.
Yeah.
Austin's finest.
And
she's one of the people suing us. She was on the bus. And so, you know, when I went to Chip Roy's office saying, I'm getting sued by, you know, they were like, oh, that's, whoo.
He didn't want to touch it?
They don't want to touch it.
Chip Roy didn't want to touch that?
So here's the thing. Now, I will say he has shared a couple of Instagram posts, and his office staff on their own time has been very kind, supportive, and gracious to check in on us and see how it's going.
Staff. I met
John Fletcher.
I don't know if it's John, but I don't remember him. But I did meet somebody who was the chief of staff at one of the Blanco GOP meetings.
Excellent gentleman.
Very
I love
nice.
him.
Really cool guy. He's like kind of our age, right?
I would I would love for him to run. I would love to support him. You know, and then they did give us a tour of the Capitol. When we went for one of our depositions the plaintiff depositions to DC, they gave us a tour of the Capitol.
Well, that's cool.
So very, very cool. But I'm very, very surprised to see the way that he spoke to that community, which, whether he supports DeSantis or Trump, will still inevitably need to support him, in theory, for Congress.
Yeah, but you're gonna not like support Chip Roy, like?
No, you can't not. That's the thing. You can't not.
Yeah, I like him. I like the way he. I like his voting record. I like most of what he says. I didn't hear the thing about what he said about Trump supporters. Like,
I'll find it. It shocked my socks off, because it was so hateful and aggressive. But he was speaking from a place of passion, and I do appreciate the fight that he fights for our border. I appreciate what he
But Trump is calling this guy a rhino, which is kind of like, I'd be annoyed too and lash out, like, if I'm being called names by somebody, like being called names by that are totally false. By somebody in an attempt to get people to gang up on me, I'd say something back, and maybe I would say something that I didn't mean. So I would.
That's fair.
Yeah, I would maybe, you know, ask why you would say that, but I wouldn't freak out about.
I was surprised.
Yeah, it's okay to be surprised.
I was surprised.
Okay, it's okay to be surprised. Yeah.
So it just gives me some pause. That's all.
Sure, that's fair.
But I will vote for Chip again.
Yeah.
I will vote for Chip again. But again, Chip, Donna Campbell, Ted Cruz, Greg Abbott, none of them have given us the enthusiastic response I expected. The what is happening to you, people need to know about.
Alex Stein did. Alex Stein put you on a show.
He sure did. And you have us back. This is how we've been doing it. Because the people we thought...
His show gets a lot more views than my
Okay, but his audience isn't activated to get engaged the way that we need. Like, fundraising wise, like, we'll go on a show and it's a lot of fun, it gets a lot of views, but it'll raise $20. It's not what we need to fight the fight.
That's
but
true.
it helps get the story out. So maybe somebody else hears about it and then they have us on, right? And so it's kind of a game of telephone.
What about the guys from Infowars? They never...
No, so I actually met Owen at an event in San Antonio.
Yeah.
I gave him some of our information and begged him to have us on his show. He was getting ready, I think, to go into a very difficult season where he had his own fights to fight.
Oh, yeah, well, he just got out of jail.
Exactly. So we never heard back. And that's pretty typical. That really we never really do. So I
Message
push
him
and I
back.
push and I
Just
squeak the
message him
wheel.
back.
I squeak the wheel over and over. It's an exhausting
Oh,
job.
I get it.
But I don't stop. I don't stop trying to get the story out. But we
What
did
about
not.
Harrison Smith?
No, I haven't tried Harrison.
Message Harrison. He might get back to you quicker. And he's a really good host. Do that. But also, how much ask how much did Donald Trump offer to actually help Owen Shroyer while he was going through this?
I would assume nothing. Based on...
Under Trump's presidency, Alex Jones got thrown off the internet under Trump's presidency because that he's fighting the deep state.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like it kind of is one of those things where it's like, here's my take on this, right? I'm not gonna shit on Trump supporters because these are my friends. They kept your business open during COVID. They we share a lot of the same viewpoints.
Yes.
Right.
We share a bench.
We're all friends. I'm not gonna say mean things about anybody because I don't believe that these are warranted.
You're not gonna chip Roy
but it
us?
feels like you're being hijacked and psyoped into voting for someone that's gonna make what you're complaining about a lot worse.
I don't know. As a Christian, I pray for wisdom and discernment. I feel pretty strongly about voting for Trump.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be more prayerful and considerate.
What's the primary, right? Look, if he's that far ahead in the polls, what do you have to lose by voting? Like, if he's that far ahead and he's going to win anyway, why not just vote for DeSantis? And I'll tell you another reason why it's not the worst idea. What if, you know the justice system is corrupt, right?
Yes.
Yeah, like you're fully aware.
I'm in it.
Okay, you're in it. Yeah. You don't think that you don't think it's possible that after the primary they try to pull a fast one and actively stop Trump from running?
Oh yeah, I mean, I do fully believe that.
You think that's a possibility, right?
Yeah, it is a possibility.
Well, who do you think the GOP is going to choose if Nikki Haley comes in second place?
I don't know.
Well, I know. And they can't choose Trump, and Nikki Haley comes in second place in the primary? Who do you think they're going to choose as the nominee?
I don't know. Who are you thinking? I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Usually you'll choose the person who's right below Trump, right?
Yeah.
You want Nikki Haley to be the nominee for president?
I just really don't see that. I don't see that.
You don't see that being a possibility.
I don't know.
That these people, you don't think that like the corrupt, swampy GOP who doesn't give two shits about you and your situation.
They don't.
Right? Who caves on every single excessive funding bill and only behaves conservative when it comes to going to war in a foreign country to kill brown people or whatever it is. You don't think that these people are like have no regard for their voters and are going to pull some fast one on us? Like, it's definitely possible. Like, you know how many Bush holdovers are still in the Republican Party?
Yeah.
Do you know how many of these people secretly want to kill this movement so they can bring back the Republican Party of old, which is the same as the Democratic Party of right now? Like, that's a very real possibility. And
wait. When you say the Republican Party of old and the Democrat Party of now, are you trying to reference the party switch? What are you talking about?
I think that a lot of today's Democrats in 2020 would have been Republicans, would have been George Bush, Dick Cheney Republicans.
Okay, I see what you're saying
like
now.
when there were rallies for Joe Biden, George Bush and Dick Cheney and all these creatures were rallying for Biden.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
I understand.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
These people do not want to put this country first. Like, these people have an allegiance to globalist entities that want to destroy American sovereignty. Right? That's a pretty obvious point of fact.
Yeah.
Okay. And so it wouldn't surprise me if they'd said, hey, like, let's get Nikki Haley, let's try to push Nikki Haley as a nominee. They can never do that. She'll never beat Trump.
Right.
But if she beats DeSantis and comes in second place and they stop Trump from running, hey, guess what? We just got stuck with a Nikki Haley nominee for president. So my attitude is, if you really think Trump is like going to blow out the competition,
yeah.
what do you have to lose by voting for DeSantis? You just at least ensure that he comes in second, and they can't do that to you.
I hear what you're saying. I completely hear the strategy behind what you're saying. I think every American would be served well to do the amount of research and thoughtfulness that you put into the future and all the possibilities and outcomes. I think that people would be served very well. Your mind is racing 20 steps ahead in every direction. That's pretty impressive to watch it happen. I have not put that kind of thought and consideration into the possibilities that could come out. I do believe that they're going to come after Trump with everything that they have.
They could also come after Trump with everything that they have in a design for him to win. Because if there's one thing that we do know about our favorite group of cartoon villains that go to Davos every year, it's that they like to use crisis after crisis to usher in the new world order that they are trying to build for us.
Right.
There's no better person to help usher that in than a geriatric egomaniac who is terrible at managing disasters. So that's...
Okay. It sounds like you just described Biden. Okay.
But that's what I'm saying. They're both really bad at managing disasters.
I disagree. I think Trump is very good at handling disasters. I would have liked to have seen him handle COVID differently. I agree that we should not have had any kind of mask mandate, and the vaccine thing went on way too long. But we didn't have any war under Trump, and you're just completely skimming over that.
Okay, well, that's good. We didn't have any new conflicts, but you were still bombing the shit out of Yemen. You were still there was still a lot of, it was still pretty bad. It just was not as bad.
Okay. I think that we were respected by other nations. I think we were feared. I think that we were a city on a hill like we're supposed to be.
I think that I love everything that Trump symbolizes, and I love what the people who vote for him and support him symbolize. But there's also how much woker did we get as a country as a result of Trump getting president?
I don't know if that has to do with Trump being president or what the efforts of the left, the media, TikTok.
but there's no better get out the vote machine for communists.
So you're saying that because of the effort against Trump causing wokeness to snowball, that's Trump's fault?
I think that it could be his fault through circumstances. It's not like he's doing it intentionally, but I think that that's a byproduct, and we should be paying attention to byproducts of actions. I think it's something to consider and look at. It's not like you're blaming him for wokeness, right? I'm not trying to do that. What I'm trying to say, though, is that, you should still look at cause and effect. Even if it's not his fault, it should still be something that people are cognizant of and understand. Cause and effect, right?
But you don't think that the agenda would still be ushered out with the same kind of potency that it is to come after our youth? I don't think that...
Yeah, but I think that, Trump fueled these people and energizes these people to come after him. And I think that the backlash against Trump was a lot greater and stronger than the support of people who like Trump to uphold American values. And then you also had these fed ops like QAnon that came out, which literally were designed... That people call them dangerous groups. They're not dangerous. They're dangerous in a different way. The reason that they're dangerous to me is because they pacify everybody into doing nothing, while these radical communists are more mobilized than ever. And then all of a sudden, you get blue waves, you get George Soros DAs, you get rampant crimes, you get drag queens reading stories to kids, you're blurring the gender lines actively, you're creating a generation of people with no foundation. Who are going to be more susceptible to tyranny. Sorry, I'm almost done. And then you also get skyrocketing crime and illegal immigration as a result of these voting patterns, which paves the way to digital ID in 15-minute cities.
Or it could have been expedited at an even more rapid rate without somebody aggressive and pushing back on it like Trump. Couldn't you argue the same?
You could, but in order for a movement to happen, right, you have to manufacture consent for it.
Okay.
And heightened emotions lead to manufacturing consent. Why did people lock down and do all this stuff during COVID? Because they were heightened emotionally.
Right.
Right. Why would people want to go to war in the Middle East? Because they're heightened emotionally. The best way to stop these psyops is to calm people down emotionally, so that less and less people have a visceral emotional reaction to what's going on.
Okay.
Which is also why humor and mockery is so effective, because when you make jokes about things,
it's more
jokes
palatable.
And laughter calm people down. The calmer you are, the less psyopable you are, which is what my viewpoint on this.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
I understand that.
And then when you have a guy who legislates pretty much the same as Trump, but actually reads documents and is kind of younger and closer to our age, and just has the personality of a cardboard box, guess what you're going to inspire less of? Visceral hatred and opposition.
Can I ask you, just since we're talking about it?
That's my view.
Okay, I just want to know, since we're talking about it, do you think that DeSantis has shoe inserts? Do you think he's tippy-toeing in his boots?
Well, I'm glad that we're focused on the important issues. I'm glad that we're focused on the important
Hey, if you can't trust a man and his height, can you trust how he runs a country? What if he's insecure? What if he's cares more about what people think?
Have you seen Trump talk about his hands?
Yes.
Like
They are tiny.
Yeah, they are very tiny.
They're little hamster hands.
Yeah, it's like this.
But you're avoiding the question. Do you think he has boot inserts?
I don't know. I don't really care if he has boot inserts. It's not gonna make gas prices go down. It's not gonna stop us sending more money to Ukraine. It's not, And then people call him a neocon, but then you have neocons like Nikki Haley criticizing Trump for not being a neocon.
I don't know what a neocon is.
Like a Bush type.
Oh, okay.
Guy, yeah. Hey, we gotta go fight this next war to fight freedom and to spread the values of freedom and democracy.
Okay, I understand. So you do think he has inserts in his boots?
I don't care. I don't care. Fine, whatever. He has
Okay.
Or maybe it's an op. Maybe it's AI. Maybe it's a deep fake. Maybe who knows?
It's weird. You're not gonna acknowledge it's just kind of weird.
He has inserts in his boots.
How his legs bend when he walks.
Well, I'm glad that you're focused on the important issues that are going to help save our country, like the way DeSantis' leg. Listen, if this is what you're attacking a political candidate on, he's not fucking children on an island in the Caribbean. Yeah. So that's my response.
Okay. That's fair.
He's not cheating on his wife, and he's not fucking children in an island in the Caribbean.
Okay.
That's my response.
Okay. You're just not wanting to have any fun, are you?
I'm having fun. We're literally giggling and laughing half the time.
Okay. DeSantis would be so grateful for your unwavering support.
They need to hire me to do communications because I'm probably better at this than 80% of the people that I see on Twitter doing comms for him or doing posting ads and support for him. I'm better than them at this stuff, and they probably should pay me a lot of money to do this because I'm really good at actually communicating this in a very fun, non-threatening way that's true.
I agree. Yeah. I agree. I agree. They should definitely be in contact with you.
They should pay me
You'd
lots of
be an asset.
I'm an asset to this. Yes, I'm an asset.
Yes.
I mean, I believe in it. Look, I believe in him way more than Trump, and I actually have skin in the game with this because all these Trump people really love my stuff, and a lot of these guys, they'll share my stuff, they'll get it out there, right? And I feel like I'm getting less views and less traction on my social media because I'm trying to say what I genuinely think is true.
Yeah. And I appreciate that actually because I am really sick of people just saying what they know people want to hear in order to get following, and then they don't put any of the real work into it. They don't research.
They don't actually try to actually know what's going on.
There's this whole sector of conservative influencers or podcasts or shows that are just a mini Hollywood, a conservative Hollywood. It's all about capitalism, capitalizing on views, followers, money. It's they're who's seeing who's at what event together, and I'm honestly quite sick of it because they're not affecting anything. There's not actual change that's happening, and then we're blindly following those idiots and people that I even put confidence in early on in 2020, maybe 2021, and I've since either gotten to know or met at events, and it's just so completely different.
It's all engagement farming with these people. These people, especially the holier than thou, especially when people are when they parade their virtue and act like they're holier than thou Christians. It's
it's
they're
so
definitely cheating on their spouses on a left and right basis, or they're doing weird stuff, or you got this guy Ali Alexander, he's messaging 15-year-old kids to sleep with. It's gross.
Yeah, no, it's so disappointing, and I've experienced so much of that. Gosh, so anyways, props to you for being authentic on and off camera. And whether it costs you views or not.
Yeah, I just generally want to tell the truth and do what I think is say what I think is the right thing to do because I don't want to do this for money. I want to do. I want to have money to do this because I want to make more videos. But I genuinely want to live in the United States, and I want to. You should always push the envelope and see what's really there, right? That's what I think. And if it means you vote for a different guy in the primary, and you might not go on Infowars as much, or you might not get share. Certain people might share your accounts a little bit less. Okay, that's totally cool. That's not a big deal. I want to, I'm doing this because I want to live in America.
I agree. I care less and less about what anybody.
And if I'm wrong on this DeSantis stuff, I'll admit that I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I just this is how I feel. right now going into this primary
Yeah. That's awesome.
in January.
Yeah.
So
That's
who knows
awesome.
what'll happen? Who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah.
And I'm not criticizing Trump support. I'm not criticizing anything. I'm just like, you're getting. I personally think, based on everything I shared, that you're getting played and manipulated.
Me as a person?
No. I think a lot of the a lot of these people that are openly putting their trust in Trump and stuff, like, you're getting played.
Yeah.
That's my views on
Yeah.
it.
I have a healthy distrust that I think we're all getting played
I think
by
so.
everybody to some extent.
But either way, you're fine because you raise chickens.
I am fine because I have beautiful chickens and eggs.
You have beautiful chickens and eggs. You have
I
a loving husband. You
I
actually
do.
you have a happy family.
I do.
You have you actually ascribe to the values that you
Thank you.
that you claim to have.
Thank you. I think that all the time. Like, if everything else is falling apart, thank God I have my husband, my son, and my home. And that's one of the things they can't touch in the lawsuit. So they have access to everything if they win. We have nothing except one car per adult in the household and our house and our health and
So
our
these guys,
jobs.
they can't really take anything of yours because you don't have any real assets.
Right. Well, no.
I mean, the home. Minus the home.
I'm sorry. All of our assets are subject to them. Like, they can take it all. So we've already spent our 401k. Like, you know what I mean? We've liquidated all
you
that
have very
stuff.
little cash to give them.
Oh, correct.
Yeah,
Like,
so very little money.
Oh, there's nothing left. So this isn't about money. They say that it is. Oh, we want financial compensation for emotional damage.
No, it's about sending a message and scaring
Yes,
people.
it is.
Yeah.
And like we talked about before, it can set a precedent at the federal level of the court system and set case law. So if they do continue using this law against people, it very easily paves the way to make this escalate or rapidly progress through the court system. And then we could even start criminalizing conservative free speech that offends the progressive left. That's terrifying.
It is terrifying.
So it's important to fight. So can I plug my fundraiser?
Yeah, you should definitely always plug your. Please plug your. fundraiser.
So we're fundraising our legal fees to stay in this fight, this very important fight that impacts all Americans' free speech rights, for you to be able to support whatever political candidate you'd like and not to be tortured under lawfare because it offends the other party. Our fundraiser is accessible at freespeechdefender.com. That's where we sell our Biden is the worst merchandise. You can donate there, follow our legal updates, learn about our story, and share a quick video with your friends and family on social media. freespeechdefender.com. And Alex, I wanted to share with you, I don't know if you want to put it in this later or share it separately, but there's a new clip. There's video footage from inside the Biden bus that we obtained through discovery in this lawsuit that completely flips the narrative on its head that Trump supporters tried to run the Biden bus off the road, which the media perpetuated that lie for months and still continue to do so. And
You could definitely file defamation lawsuits then.
God, yes. And so you see this video from inside the bus driver, Wendy Davis, and a campaign staffer for Biden Harris are saying they want to run us the fuck right over. That's a direct quote. Ram their asses is another direct quote. And just talking about, there's a 60-second clip compilation of how much the bus driver is talking about running us off the road. They call us names, racial slurs, so on and so forth. And so they're claiming that we tried to run them off the road, which never happened. Meanwhile, that's what they're saying. But do you think the media has picked that up? Do you think anybody's blasted that out?
Joeylynn, I think that you should send this to me and also send this to Gary, and I'll tell Gary to put that actually in to open this episode so people can really get a hook in.
Thank you. That would be awesome.
I think that's a really good idea.
Thank you.
I'm totally about that.
Thank
I'd
you.
love to do
That would be awesome. Because we can't get the truth doesn't go viral. The lies go viral, and the truth is just like.
Well, there's also a lot of engagement from people are trying to join gropers and post, post open Nazi rhetoric now on Twitter because it thinks it's getting them views on Twitter. So you're actually really seeing like some crazy stuff where you're seeing the lengths that people want to go for engagement farming, and that's not a winning battle. Sticking to what you believe to be true.
Yeah.
And being first and embracing the pain in the beginning is the way to actually have long-lasting success in making things.
Slow and steady, right?
Yeah.
Because
hit singles and doubles. Don't try to knock it out of the park and hit a home run. Hit singles and doubles, and that's it.
Yes, I completely agree.
Yeah.
Thank you for being willing to share that footage.
I want to, yes. You have to send that to me, though. Please send that to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Joeylynn, how else do we get a hold of you?
Okay, so on Instagram, I'm Joeylynn Mesaros. On Facebook, we're Free Speech Defender. We also have a Free Speech Defender on Instagram as well. On Twitter, I need to start posting there. I think I have 3 posts. It's Free Speech Def. But freespeechdefender.com is the best way to access all of our social media links, to contact us directly, to order from our store, to support our fundraiser, follow our legal updates, and share our story.
Amazing. All right, Joeylynn, thank you so much for coming on. I really had so much fun. This is great.
Thank you, Alex.
All right. Bye.